Oi. Ah. Mm. Oh. I think he's already... There we go. There we go. I was debating whether I should wait for him or not, but I think by the time I went, he would have plenty of space to go at that pace, so I was like, nah, I might as well just go now. If somebody's in like a real hurry, I don't want to get in their way, but if they're just, he's going to the gym, he's probably not trying to waste all his energy now, he probably wants to use the gym. It's funny how that is. It's like we often don't want to use our energy outside of the gym, but in the gym, it's like that's our space for it. Our ancestors, if they didn't have any disabilities or hurt their back or their feet or their knees or their whatever the case may be, asthma, all kinds of diseases actually that we don't even really think about anymore. And it's just like ancestors, at least the men, how to utilize a lot of the women too, depending on the culture and the time period. The amount of energy those who are able to had to exert. And these days, even if we're on our feet all day, we're not necessarily always doing the same things they were doing. So what's beautiful is there's some evidence that some of these ancient cultures likely did care for their sick. Let's say they got some sort of serious injury or something, they cared for them. And of course, in the very ancient past, they might have taken the role of something like a shaman or something. Think of a modern-day priest, a rabbi. Imagine them taking a spiritual role in the community or a storytelling role in the community. The role of a scholar or of an artisan or something that they would be capable of doing despite their injury or injuries, which were also quite common. And the modern world have things really changed as much? Not really, I don't think. I mean, even in those prehistoric times, did some people have significant dominance over other people? Probably did. And, were some people abused in those ancient times? Probably so. But the fact that they were also cared for, at least in some circumstances, we have some evidence that this was the case, at least some of the time. Both can be true. So, the last, 300,000 years, have humans really changed all that much? It's hard to tell. Hey, what's up? How you doing? I don't think human intelligence nor human a lot of the intricacies of human culture have really changed that much. Existed, or at least arguably existed. I think we've developed certain things, sure. Some of those things have been lost, some of those things have been expanded upon, but we've invented quite a few things. Some of those things might never have seen the light of day in the wider community, but human beings have invented quite a few things. Sure, but we can't use that as a source of determining human intelligence. Our intelligence isn't based on what we have access to and resources that our ancestors gave to us. That isn't a source of intelligence or culture necessarily, at least in maybe a broader or different sense. But it's something, but there's a false correlation. It's kind of a logical fallacy in presuming that just because we have more access to resources, computers, phones, cameras, cars, that we're somehow more intelligent than our ancestors, and that's just purely seemingly false. But or that we're more cultured. It also seems to be false. I mean, like, we don't have a lot, we might not always know what the colors of the clothing our ancestors wore, nor the complex diversity of clothing our ancestors wore. A lot of that stuff rots away, sometimes within 10 years, let alone, 100,000 years. So, if anything does remain, it's often, lost its pigmentation, seemingly. So, if it had any to begin with. So, some things to really consider. And the ancient world was vibrant. I mean, the pyramids today, we don't see color on them, at least from the areas that have been exposed. But, certain areas in ancient Egypt, in the architecture, they found, paint, like look in the tomb of King Tutankhamun, or supposedly, this is attributed to him. It's there's still some debate, but that's difficult when talking about the ancient past. There's tends to be people who disagree on certain specifics. Why what? And what are you talking about? Well, you got to listen to what I'm saying. Understand what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm being pretty concise, I would say, and pretty fairly clear, fairly transparent. What I'm talking about after the gym, my mind wanders. Nothing crazy, just history. And anthropology, I guess, brushing upon that at least. But if you're below a certain age demographic, you might not know the words I'm using because your vocabulary might not be as expanded yet, because that happens with time and experience. You're not born with all the words you have to learn them, and there's certain words I didn't learn. I think there might have been a word or two I hadn't learned until my last year of my first graduate degree. I'm still learning words. Today I learned what was it? I learned the word ayin in Hebrew, and what was the other word? Okay, I might have forgotten the one. I'm gonna have to. And lately, I've been learning more Hebrew. I'll probably get back to English once I start teaching again, because in pedagogy and education, there are quite a few words to learn, and this is true. And when it comes to that like subject area in general, or that field rather, the vocabulary becomes a little bit intense, and if there's a word you don't know, it's good to, I think, really study up on it if one has the time, because in that field it's so important to keep up. It's a very fast-paced industry, or endeavor. I mean, I should say industry sounds kind of bad when we're talking about education, but yeah, endeavor. It's a very fast-paced endeavor, and yeah, it's let's see here. I'm not thrilled about parking there. I don't want to have to get out in the morning or afternoon or whenever I leave. But that's my parking spot here. Hopefully I can get back to my own house pretty soon, but I'll make some more money first, which means I gotta get a better job to get back home eventually. And who knows where else in the world I'll make my home. 7 countries, 3 continents, 1 Mr. G, always and forever. Not always. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the afterlife we'll get new names. We get titles throughout our lives. Ah, my back! Ah, my back! Oh, fudge! My back. I had to bend over earlier. That's killing me. It doesn't take much. I bend over once in a day, and it kills me sometimes. If it's bad enough, it hurt me for several days. But I got my grabber, and I got a lot of endurance. And oh, hush your butt! Why are you yelling at me? What am I? Just because my door's open? I gotta open my door to, sweetheart. I gotta open my door to get out. I don't know why you're yelling at me for that. Oh, just got out of the gym, got off of my shift. I really don't want to hear you scream at me, sweetheart. Me and my car. I still gotta wash clothes and do some other things. Me or him? Me or him what? What are you talking about? Hope you have a wonderful day. It's been a good day. What time is it where you at? Are you having a good day as well? I hope so. You know what? I should bring my grabber with me. I have my cane in the house, but I should bring my grabber. Oh, fudge. Especially now that I really hurt my back again. Okay. I try not to bend over, but I had to. I really got to get into the stretches. That's been something they've been telling me. I know the stretches might hurt at first, but if I get in the habit of it, it might actually help out significantly. Because there will come times when you either have to push yourself or you fall down or someone pushes past you. Oh, dear heavens. By the way, if you do shove into somebody who you know has back problems, just say sorry. It doesn't have to be a big thing or anything, but just or do something nice for them or something. Like just but all you really have to do is say sorry. Don't, one of the things I've learned, I think it's important not to let your pride take over your humanity. Your humanity comes first. A confident person can, or a person who's in a confident state of mind can still make an apology without it hurting their ego. Because if you're comfortable with yourself and you know you did something wrong, doesn't mean that you're a terrible person necessarily. It just means, maybe theologically, but in a general sense, you don't necessarily have to think I'm a terrible person. You don't have to think that way. But not in most contexts, I wouldn't think. But yeah, sometimes it's good, and sometimes we don't say sorry that way. Sometimes we have our own little language, our own little way of apologizing for something. But just owning up to doing something bad, especially if it was a little bit worse than what we typically might do, like break the speed limit or something, like by like a couple. I'm not talking about going twice the speed limit. I'm talking about going like 5 miles over kind of thing. It's like, yeah, like the little things, I don't think it's necessary to apologize for every little single thing, but if you do something that is really bad, find your own way to say you're sorry I think is often appropriate. I'm not going to tell you you have to do that every time. I'm just saying that I guess what I'm trying to communicate is that it's generally a good idea to communicate, certain things, appreciation, sorriness. Some people don't respond well to those things, and you can find ways that they do respond well to those things. And if you can't, you can't, but you can try. Everybody's different. Oh, fiddlesticks. Oh, fudge. Oh, fudge. Oh. By the way, are you having a wonderful day? You don't have to give any, I asked what time it was where you were living. You don't have to tell me anything. You're afraid of people finding out where you live or anything. That's not my goal. I was just making polite conversation kind of thing. And generally a little bit curious. I've been to 3 continents so far, and yeah, I do get curious about that kind of thing. My friend, I've said so much. I don't know what the yeah's in response to, but I thank you for participating, though. Oh, fudge. I'll probably have to get going. I might stream on Facebook in a little bit while I'm getting some other things done. I'll probably be pretty quiet then, just listening to my music. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and talk to me later, and I'll let you guys go, I guess, and take care, guys. How our day goes, a lot of it depends on our perspective and what we do in that day. A lot of what makes us feel fulfilled, happy, sad, miserable, a lot of that is us. Not all of it, but a lot of it is. And we're big players in our lives, and we don't always see it that way. So that's a nugget of wisdom